Dude, I don't know how many people know that, but it's awesome.
It's one of the best clips of all time, dude. That's like
Do it live!
That's an iconic clip, dude. Really? Stevie just jumped on me right as the live stream started. Are you serious? Check it out. Let's see if Stevie will get on cam. What up, brah?
Check out my melody.
What up, brah? Look at Steve. She loves it. Look at Steve, brah. That's Stevie, son. And DP in the house.
Don't say
What up,
DP.
Hello, P.
Oh, I said it.
I mean,
Nico
something.
Petrides already in the chat. You know why? Because Nico stays ready. If there's one thing we know about Nico, he stays
He doesn't have to get ready.
Gazda 94, my Indio dog in the house as well. Enjoy your weekend too,
Show
dude. It's going to be a good one. Let's go.
Before the show. This isn't the show after the show. This isn't the show like alongside the show. This is the show before the show.
Dylan Bush apologizing for a crappy performance. I mean, dude, let's be honest. It wasn't. I think I told several people that night to get in the cage at all, dude. I mean, that takes mega stones to get in there and run it. And you and Joel had a super close fight. I think either of you made a case for winning that fight. Obviously, a split decision kind of enforces that thought, pretty obvious. But also, like, that one easily could have gone either way. I wouldn't be holding my head too much. We are working on something for you as well, but talking to your coaches, you know. It always goes through the coaches, bruh. So if the coaches don't like it, then we don't like it. Seth Donovan.
That's not true. Too. That's not true. There are times when the coaches don't like it that we still like it.
Oh, we can still like it. We just can't do anything about it.
It just ends there.
Yeah. Oh, we like it. Don't worry. We like that. Austin Warman in here too also lost a tough split decision in his MMA debut Saturday night at BitB23. So Austin came out, put on a show, and then it comes out afterwards that he had a broken nose heading into that fight. So that's actually what caused him to get pulled from when we thought he was going to make his debut in June. That's what caused him to get pulled, and then I guess he re-injured it leading up to this one. So split decision with a broken nose in your MMA debut, all things considered, not bad. Plus, Austin, I thought of you as purely a grappler. Obviously, I knew you from Sprawl in the Burgh. You competed for us a few times. That boxing looked decent, bruh. I was surprised with those hands. Stout's got Austin's hands up to speed pretty quickly. I like that.
Dude, he was saying he thought he was expecting you to be trash on the feet.
That's exactly, yeah, man. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to look like Israel Adesanya or anything, you know.
That fight was so close. Like, after it was over, I was like, I have no idea who won this fight.
I know. There were some super tough decisions.
You guys can't get into this stuff. This is the show before the show. We only have a minute left.
Yeah, we're just
1 minute.
Yeah, we're just getting into it. I can't hold it any longer here. Fighters Delight Media.
You guys have premature
showulation. Podcastulation. Carly Joe, DeRusi. Dude, there's all kinds of this is a star-studded little audience right here. Let's go. The Dangerous MMA says he's making his AMI debut under us this summer. Sick. I look forward to that. Let's go. Jared Billy. Give us the
Jared Billy's making his debut.
Jared Billy is debuting against Gary Lewis. This is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Jared Billy versus Gary Lewis at Brawl in the Burgh 24. It's a sick fight. Sure. Winner gets lifetime front row seats. They might fight to the death if that's what that's
show.
Oh, it's the real show now. Show. All right. Real show time. Let's go. Time to put on a serious face now.
This is our formal introduction. Welcome to the show. Air horn. Yay.
There it is. The enthusiasm level is off the charts. We love it. We just had Brawl in the Burgh 23, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, this past Saturday at the Monroeville Convention Center. Pretty safe to say that event kicked all the ass until the main event. That was the most anticlimactic finish of an event that I can remember, and pretty much as terrible as it could get on that level. So yeah, nobody wanted that to go the way it did, and we had hyped up Justin Patton versus Ryan Cafaro, rightly so, as winner could get called to Contender Series, UFC type deal. This next level pro featherweight fight. First minute and a half of the fight lived up to expectations, man. They both looked so good. They both looked so sharp. It was shaping up to be every bit the fight that we thought and promoted it to be.
It totally, like, as it was happening, I'm watching it, and I just like was watching it and saying, like, this is happening and it's as good as like we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and that's a ridiculous awesome feeling on that level, because we had hyped that fight to the absolute moon. I mean, we couldn't have really hyped it much harder. So for it to actually live up, not just live up to the hype in general, but live up to massive hype, like, that's pretty insane. We got Babs in the background here. What's she going to do? All right, she's going to lay down.
Babs is the worst.
Look at this. She's going to bark in no time, dude. 100%. She'll be barking here in a second. But Babs is sick.
Sucks.
Dude, for real. DeRusi said, are we rematching them? We are not, actually, Evan, interestingly enough. I think everybody still wants to see the fight, but for reasons that will not be disclosed here, the rematch is not looking good. It sucks. That was our...
Or at least it's not looking good as the next fight for Patton.
Right. Or,
who knows, down the road sometime.
Yeah. Austin Warman wants to fight in November. I mean, dude, get Mike and Will to tell us that, and we'll make it happen, obviously. Luke Martin joined the show. AJ Germain joined the show. Dude, Luke Martin, are you busy in October, Luke? I'm just curious. Anything going on in October?
Hey, local fighters, in Austin in particular right now, because he just said, I want to fight in November. Make sure you let your coaches know that. It's got to clear through them. We don't start looking for any fights for anybody until we hear it from the source. And the source for you is the podcast duo. Either one of those two.
Listen to them. Listen to them.
Listen. Coaches. You better listen to your coaches.
That's actually a really good podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to it regularly. I mean, it's good. It's a good podcast in general, but I meant more so it's a good podcast to learn more about their thought process and what they're looking for their fighters, and like the progression that they want to take them through. So, because like, who was it recently that won? And I was like, it wasn't for us. He won somewhere else. And they were like, we want him to take like 6 months now and focus only on jiu-jitsu. Like, he won't be fighting again. And I was like, well, that's good to know, because I was just about to ask them if we could match him, but I guess he's not fighting for a while. I forget who that was though. But yeah, anyway.
See, I'm all about asking him anyway. Ask him anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
People change their minds.
It's true. People definitely change their minds, and plans are always changing, especially in this industry, which is insane. I don't know. I still don't know why we do this.
when they say that on listen to your coaches, like, they're not my coaches. So I go, I can hear you.
That actually worked really well, dude. That actually was pretty cool, because your AirPods are your mic as well. Like that was kind of cool the way that worked. It was like hard to hear you. Yeah, it was like hard to hear you. Good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Luke Martin said, I think that was about me after LFA. Yeah, it really could have been that, which is interesting. So, yeah, for pretty obvious reasons now, you guys can read between the lines here. But, yeah, Luke might be busy October 26th. Just saying. Probably keep an eye out for that real early next week. That's cool.
I'm not going to say anything, but stick around.
Who knows? I mean, really, it could be anybody. It could be any Luke Martin I'm talking about. But it's probably the one that trains at Stout. But, yeah.
And is in the chat.
The main event, getting slightly back on topic here, that, literally nobody wanted that result. I think you could tell even Cafaro's reaction in the cage. He was gutted. He put a lot of time, a lot of energy into that. He's getting a little older. His window to make it to that next level is closing for sure. And it's just, you put so much into a fight like that to have it end that way is just super frustrating. And also, Ryan's a really good dude. I'm sure he didn't want to injure Justin Patton with an eye poke either. He probably felt bad about that. I don't think any professional wants to have that reputation or have fights end that way. So it was just unfortunate all the way around, man. That's something that can happen in MMA, and you hate to see it, but there it was. Like I said, in however many fights I've been involved in now for 3 years with 247, I've never seen that, but there it was. It can happen.
That being said, I was talking to Ryan afterwards, and he like flinched pretty quickly, and I hurry up and went like that. Just kidding.
That's what I heard that Chris Williams is already working on that. He's added that to the Yinzer boxing curriculum now. Eye poke defense, which is good. That's really good. We got Horse Sport. Is that really their name? Horse Sport Pakistan, I think. They're trying to sell us some equipment in the chat. That's awesome. So they've infiltrated live chats now.
All right, so listen, if you talk during a live chat in our chat room, we will officially ban you for life.
Boom. Yeah,
Boom.
I don't know. They're probably not going to stop, but that's awesome. If anybody needs any gear, there you go. Let's hear where you should go. Jared Billy's loving it, at least. Jared Billy definitely loves it, so that's great. What was the co-main? I think was the. It was after. Go ahead. Say what you. I was going to say after Drizmicki's knockout, you kind of thought Meat Bucks are definitely a wrap, right? Like that. Those Meat Bucks right there. Nobody's stopping that. And then Gino Morelli did what he did, and I was like, there is competition now.
See, there was like an appetite I had for that, fight that just wasn't filled.
Yeah, it was just too quick.
Like, I need more Morelli. I need more Watt. I needed more, and I just felt after that fight, and no fault to anyone, but I just felt like I felt like the last two fights, even though one was a complete awesome finish and all that stuff, I just felt, I don't know, I need more.
Yeah, I agree.
Fight to go multiple rounds. Like, I thought it was going to be like sick, and then it was just like I blinked and it was over.
Kind of like Conor versus Aldo, where everybody knows the guy who lost had more to give. Like that really was not a case of Watt being that outgunned. It was just, if they fight 10 times, somebody's going to get caught. You know what I mean? That was the time. Just like Justin Patton Cafaro being a really strange ending, this one was the same. But just when you work with 4-ounce gloves between trained professionals that really know how to throw a punch, sometimes that punch gets through real early, and that's kind of it. Even though it was a submission win for Gino, let's be real, it was that right hand that really ended the fight.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you punch someone so hard that they uncontrollably turn around, I don't know that I've seen that sequence like that where he just like his whole body just like flipped around. It was definitely interesting.
I also think I'm going to take this a step farther, and no disrespect to literally anybody else that's been in our cage, but pretty sure Gino was the most UFC ready looking fighter that we've ever had in our cage. Besides, Kama, who's actually been there, and Chris Dempsey, who's actually been there. But in terms of prospects, Gino was like pretty freaking next level.
If that happened to, so these are both guys with only 2 pro fights prior to this. So when you talk about that, you have to consider like there are guys that have 15 to 20 pro fights, and I disagree with you. I think you're dumb.
Well, you think that anyway, but I think so. Like you can judge a prospect based on how they move, how they carry themselves, the way, the athleticism. He kind of just has it all. When, like, his wrestling.
100%. He has them. He has it all.
Yeah, he truly has a special skill set. And with his striking being way better than I thought it was going to be, like way better. His striking was phenomenal, actually. So
it was such a small glimpse. I can't say that, guys that are 2 pro fights in are like UFC ready, and like we need a bigger glimpse.
You definitely do. I'm just saying that, like, kind of like Bo Nickel, where it's like, okay, he just submitted a guy in 20 seconds, but you could tell in that 20 seconds, like,
there's something elite there. Yeah, there's something special there.
Yeah, there's some different kind of firepower here that we're working with. And that's
I'll agree with that. I think that's a different thing than saying he's the most UFC ready guy. I think guys that have fought 10 times professionally are totally different than guys that have fought 2 times. They're just like, they'll both be a lot better in 8 fights, like just period, point blank. And until you're fighting those guys, then you'll see it.
For sure. I would never dispute that. I just mean that, like, clearly Gino's got some special sauce going on there. Oh,
for sure. He could probably
it was different.
Compete with Danny Palm.
Yeah. Don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. I'm taking Danny in at least maybe a minute 30. If Gino can make it a minute 30, I'd be impressed. How would you finish him, Danny? What's Danny Palm's go-to? Like, dude, Danny Palm, if you got in a street fight, what would be your tactic?
Bite his ear.
I mean, wrestle. Like, I wrestled my whole life. Like, I'd take them down and then, like, ground and pound. Like,
ground and pound. Nice. He's not going for submissions. He wants to make them pay.
Yeah, I've like, even like trained jiu-jitsu for a while. Like, I've never submitted anyone in my life ever.
It's all ground and pound, baby.
Dude, it's the atomic teabag. That's the submission hold that you need to learn.
He gives them that D and P. That is sick, dude.
Uh-huh.
That is awesome, man. So Gino Morelli, Hunter Watt.
Look how loyal Danny is to the podcast room. He's like, I'm not having a normal office background. Yeah. I'm there. I'm in the podcast room.
Yeah, where's the little 247 neon? I can't tell where you're sitting exactly. You're covering it. I see. Yeah. I see. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So Gino and Hunter, obviously, I'm kind of like you, Ryan. I'm gutted that we didn't get to see more of that, to know, because Hunter, again, 2-0 pro, not a ton of experience as a pro, but also was 8-1 or 9-1 as an AMI. So he wasn't your average 2-0 pro, to say the least. Yeah, I would have loved to see a little more of that, but maybe soon. Maybe soon we get him back.
I have a thirst for that. I just feel like it was an unfulfilled, like, it just didn't, like, I just felt like I felt like it was going to be something different.
You cut him short. You cut Ryan Middleton out short. And then we had, right before that, a guy that I had been personally super interested in seeing in our cage, because he's never fought for 247 since I've been working for 247. So I'd always heard about Jay Manning. I've always heard Indio talk about him, Danilo talk about him, you talk about him, Ryan. And I just wanted to see it for myself. I heard a lot of Jim stories about him, but sometimes Jim stories are just that, stories, and they're not reality. But Jay Manning was as advertised, to say the least. What a freaking dynamic finish. And the one thing I'll say about Jay, my in-laws were there for the first time ever. They came to a show and they said it. Several friends said it that were watching. My dad said it. He was watching the live stream down in North Carolina. Jay made himself a lot of fans. The way he carries themselves, all of them were like, I really liked that Jay Manning guy. Like, I liked his post-fight interview. I liked the way he fought. I liked the way he carried himself. So there is something about Jay that is very magnetic with his personality and with, I don't know, his post-fight speech. I agree. I went and listened to it, and it's very, very humble, very just like, this is a dude that I can certainly get behind. Like, I like this guy. So he's got that very important quality, obviously, for a fighter. And when you go out and you finish a really tough dude in the first round, you're gonna make some fans. So sky's the limit for Jay, dude.
Yeah, Jay is fantabuloso. Such a good dude. Very humble, very respectful, very I mean, I can't say here's the thing. I feel like I relate to him, like just physique alone. And so I kind of have like a special, there's just a special place in my heart for him because like we have literally the same physique.
I mean, I thought it was you at weigh-ins, to be honest. I was like, Ryan, get out. We need Jay to step on the scale, not you. But it turned out, no.
Dude, he's way darker than me, bro. Like, we have different ethnic backgrounds, bro. Like, I am very pale.
Fooled me.
And
you can't talk about pale. You can't talk about pale with me, though. Let's be honest.
I mean, you're very, very, very pale.
But yeah, I like what for you guys. What is next for Jay Manning? Like, where do we take Jay from here? Because obviously, I want Jay to fight for us again. Now it's a question of like, how good is the opponent? What kind of matchup is it? What would you guys like to see for Jay next?
Are you asking
Danny?
Either, yeah.
I'd like to see him maybe, like he's 3-1 now. I'd like to maybe see someone around that record, maybe.
Or even like a 10-8. Go ahead, Ryan.
I'd like to see Tito Ortiz says, I'd like to see him go up against some people with upside down records, like 5-2 and 10-0 and 10-8.
Upside down. That's awesome.
Have you ever seen that clip?
I've never heard that Tito clip, but the fact that Tito said that does not surprise me at all.
Dude, these guys have losing records.
That's
like
awesome.
5-1.
That's so crazy. We got an important comment I'm going to address here because this is, like I said, it's important. Jack DePiro said, how does one fight for your organization? So that's a great question, Jack. And we have a link in our bio.
Wait, hold on. See, when you read that, you said Jack DePiro. And I saw it and I thought jacked up hero.
Jacked up hero. Well, you just can't read, bro.
When you said Jack DePiro, I heard jacked up hero.
It sounds exactly like that. Yeah,
jacked
up hero. That should be your fighter nickname for sure. Yeah, there's a link in our bio. You fill out. It's a real quick Google Doc. It takes just a little bit of information from you, your name, your height, weight, your gym, your background, because when we find a fight for you, the coach is obviously going to ask. There's a difference between an amateur debut who's never really trained versus an amateur debut who's a 3-time national champion wrestler. Like, they're different levels. So we need to know a little bit about your background so they know what they're getting into. And yeah, man, that's it. Go fill out that link. Link's in our bio.
Nicole Homie Steak.
Look at that babe in the chat. My goodness. She should be.
I was gonna say
working. She should be working. I think. Get back to work. Somebody's got to pay our bills. Go work. I work for a regional MMA organization. You need to work.
Work, girl.
Dude, that's awesome.
So Jay Manning, I think Jay. I'd like to see him like against like a 5-5 guy.
I think that's a reasonable fight.
Someone with more experience, someone who has, who will test him and he'll see different things, who's going to have a more diverse attack as a more experienced veteran. I think that would be a good one for him.
Yeah. You know what I think would be a sick fight that we can't have due to what's the word I'm looking for? Loyalties / friendships is Jay versus Bronco Busick. I think athletically and skill set wise, that's a real sick fight. But Bronco and Danilo are pretty close and have trained together and stuff. So that one's off the table. But in a fantasy land, Bronco versus Jay Manning is a really sick fight that I love.
Well, the other one I really like is Jay Manning versus Mateo.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, you could mix those guys up in any order, and it ends up being a fun matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, Mateo versus Jay Manning, let's go. Yeah, I want to see that. Heal up, Mateo. Mateo, how's your healing going, bro?
Hey, as we're saying this, if you're watching and you ever think of fantasy matchups, throw them in the chat. Let's have fun here. Have you ever thought oh man, if they weren't friends, I'd love to see this guy versus this guy, or or
fun.
just two guys you've thought about, man, I'd love to see this guy fight this guy. Maybe we'll look at it and be like, we love that too, and then we'll sick the matchmaking team on it.
That's sick. Let's do it. While we're talking about fantasy matchmaking, one thing I wanted to talk about on this podcast, it just seems like the right time for it, are the fights that we lost for BitB23, because when we were going through and I was really looking at the fights that we had made that just didn't happen, dude, the card was sick. The crowd was great event, but literally
could have been crazy if those fights all stayed together.
I genuinely don't it's going to sound like this is an extreme statement, but I think there could have been very nearly twice as many people there if these fights stayed on. Not because these fights alone sell that many tickets, but these fights added with what was already there just made a card that you can't resist anymore. Over the top. So here they are. I'm going to tell you guys what they were.
It would be like a milkshake. It'll bring all the boys.
Dude, every boy would have been in that yard easily.
Boy.
So you guys know two of them we announced. Craig Perry versus Shane Nuttall. That was an insane one. That was obviously
banger.
Cannot miss that. Pittsburgh versus Pittsburgh, badass versus badass. Any way you want to shape that one. That one was bringing boys to the yard for sure.
Plus, when you add a gym on, you add all of the gym, the gym fans on. So
right,
badass.
And then Chase Boyd versus Nate LaRocco. We know what a Chase Boyd fight brings. We know what Nate LaRocco brings. That matchup was entertaining, but also anytime Chase fights, he brings a solid little crowd with him as well, and that just gets people that much more hype. So we had those two. Now, the two that you guys did not know about, because for various reasons,
never made it to announcements.
Never made it to the announcement. And
one actually were verbal, but it never actually got signed on both sides.
And the other, and let me be extremely clear. All these fights that didn't happen, they didn't happen for very valid reasons. I'm not calling out any fighter oh, it's your fault. Things happen, and this just how it goes. But on this card, it was particularly devastating matchups to not have materialized. Here's the one that you guys would have lost your minds about. Well, actually, you would have lost your minds about both of these, but this one. Cowboy Eddie versus Tanner Cahill. Dude, can you maybe it's a good thing that didn't happen when you think about it. I don't know, would there have been a riot? Would there have been more drama with that fight? I don't know, but I do know that people would have been super hyped about it.
It would have been crazy.
Here's Hogaback's fantasy matchup. Drizzy versus Tariq Smith. Dude, I mean, let's just do that one. Why not?
Where's that at? I don't see that.
On YouTube.
Oh, that's the one I don't have up. Figures.
Hogaback, big YouTube guy.
YouTuber.
Yeah, dude, that's a sick matchup. Obviously, I like that. Drizzy obviously did his part to cement that as an idea, and there's a chance that we're already thinking about that. Suka Sleeper says Cowboy needs back in the cage. I could not agree more. And seeing him at the fight,
talk to that dude.
Yeah.
It's not anything that has to do with us.
Yeah,
Get
Cowboy.
that dude some discipline.
Now, Tim Bailey, can we try it? Can we try again for Cowboy Eddie versus Tanner? No, well, Tanner took a pro fight in the meantime, so Tanner's a pro now. I mean, you gotta that kind of.
Eddie would have to go pro.
Yep, and get down to 145 probably. I would imagine Tanner's not fighting 155 at pro, but I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But we'll keep it on the back burner. But anyway, that was a fight that we were all but across the finish line for. That didn't happen. And the last one that you guys never even heard about, that was never – there's a reason that I'm not going to get into that, like I said, super valid. It can't happen. But fantastic fight. Hoot Lee versus J.R. Cazales, lightweight title fight. Southside Boxing versus Indio. That fight would have had all the heat for sure. JR is a tough dude. And we all know what Hoot Lee is and what he brings and the crowd he brings. So when I say the crowd probably would have been double the size, now you see why.
It would have been double the size.
Yeah, those fights could have all on that card, like and all amateur fights as well, which from you know, you get, this is the behind the scenes podcast. From a cost perspective for us, that's very good that they're all amateur. So it would have just been an even better day. But I'm getting kind of greedy because it was a pretty great day. I gotta say, the event was freaking great. It was smooth. I think from a logistical standpoint, probably our smoothest event to date.
Yeah, things totally went really smooth. I mean, we just have so many people that have been doing the same thing over and over again, and everyone just knows their role. And like, you know, we bring in a new play-by-play guy, and he doesn't miss a beat. It's just totally
shout out.
Does a great job.
Shout out Ty Polk. Stepped in that booth and killed it, man.
Yeah, it was really good. Beyond my expectations for a first time. I mean, granted, like, there's always things to work on, right? But he stepped in there and did a phenomenal job for a guy that is traditionally a boxing, like he's a boxing guy. He's learning MMA. He knows broadcasting. Like, he's real sharp and a great guy. And I just think he did a great job.
Yeah.
And he had to sit next to Ethan for 3 hours. And anyone that does that, like, earns sainthood.
Arguably that's the biggest test. The biggest hurdle he'll face as a commentator is that. So he already proved that. It's only up from here.
Yeah,
awesome. I mean, oh man! All right, where were we on the card? Oh, we were no big deal. But before Jay fought, Kama Worthy fought Olivier Murad, and not Kama's best, and only super comfortable saying that because Kama said it himself. Pretty obvious. He got relatively just out wrestled, out grappled, was kind of a step off of everything. I know Kama said he just kind of felt off, felt like nothing was quite where it should have been. He was like lagging a little bit, for lack of a better term. So in the fight game, that's not a good place to be, needless to say. So Olivier, full credit to him, man. Olivier was an absolute dog, and I think we knew going in that was a really tough fight for Kama. I'm sure Kama knew that was a really tough fight too. That whole Freedom Fighters team is just super, super tough. I was impressed by Olivier's grappling personally. I wasn't expecting that game plan, so to speak. I wasn't necessarily expecting his offensive wrestling to be that dominant, but it was. And he got a big win over a UFC vet as a result. So that's a huge win for his career. And personally, I hope that propels him to the next level. That is awesome for him. And he certainly earned it. And working with the team was great too, man. They're cool people. They're awesome to have up. I thought Olivier was like exceptionally professional.
What did you say?
His team. So Olivier's team did allegedly. Word on the street is, no, it happened. It totally happened. They fought each other at weigh-ins.
I harassed them after the show.
Oh, dude. And it was like the most big brother fight ever, where like 2 seconds later they were hugging and laughing and like, yeah, we just do that. It's like alley cats. Like, we just need to get in a quick dust up and then we'll leave each other alone and be cool again. But yeah, it was a legit fight for a second.
Yeah, that was the most. I'm in the other room with Patton, and we're just finishing up and like talking, and he goes, "I think there's a fight," and I had heard what we heard was, "Whoa," and it was you, Hunter. And it was the same whoa as the kissing Grammy whoa.
Nice. So I transitioned from no to whoa. I just make different sounds.
Yeah.
Maybe next time it'll be yo. I mean, my next one. Next time two dudes fight there, I'll throw that one out there.
Just start acting ridiculously perverted.
Wouldn't that? Okay, hang on. Let's think about this for a second. Wouldn't that would end the fight? Like, that would be effective.
Absolutely. They would be like, I gotta get out of here.
I gotta get out of here. I'm not fighting anymore. Erica Martin in the chat. Shout out Erica, keeping Josh Visoki on weight for his fight. October 26th. BitB24. Mr. Visoki has himself a pro debut against Nico Petrides. That is an absolute banger fight. Like, how freaking good is that matchup? Unbelievable.
How can someone see that matchup and not be so excited?
You can't.
Like,
it's impossible.
Yeah.
The only way is if you know
excited.
The only way is if you know literally nothing about fighting. That's the only way. If you know anything about fighting, if you care at all, that matchup excites you a lot. That is a good one. Who do we have before Kama? So yeah, Olivier, shout out to him and that whole freedom fighter camp. They kicked ass. They came into Pittsburgh and they kicked ass. You got to give credit where it's due, and that's exactly what they did. Like I said, I hope that propels him to the next level and gets him where he wants to go, because he was super, super promising.
It's a huge win for a guy that had a Dana White's Contender Series win. Now, here's the rub. Like, those guys, UFC, they love seeing finishes, do not like to see decisions. They want your finish rate to be in the like 50 plus range. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, getting a decision over Kama is still a big deal. A finish, I feel like a finish would have done great things for him.
For sure.
For sure. We can never predict what the UFC is going to do, obviously, but this certainly inches him closer.
He said the same thing after the fight, that literally everybody I've ever heard fighting Kama or even just sparring Kama says that his timing and range was just really difficult for him to figure out. Kama's got something special where that's concerned, for sure. It's different. You always hear about it, and you hear about it from all types of different fighters. So he did experience the same problem that a lot of people do with Kama. And because of that, couldn't get the finish, but did get a very dominant, clear, unanimous decision win. So
that was an interesting fight too, in the sense that in all the fights that Kama's had for 247, which is mounting up at this point, I think he's in the 8 range or something.
That's crazy.
And all the fights he's had, I've never had like a weird feeling or a bad feeling. And I told you guys morning of the fight, I said, like, dude, I don't feel good about this fight. I don't feel good about Kama. I just didn't. It didn't seem like and he didn't look like himself. We've seen him a bunch of times in a bunch of play. He looked like he was a step behind.
Yeah. And it can happen. I mean, that's the fight game. When you have I've heard, go ahead.
What you have to determine, like now, like, is that because he's 37? Is that because he just had a bad night? And people have bad nights. Like, ultimately, like, what does that mean? We'll find out. Like, time will tell. Because Kama's ready to get back in the gym and ready to go back at it.
Imagine that. The man can't stay away, and I love it. That's why he's one of the most legendary fighters Pittsburgh's ever produced. That's definitely saying something too. So that's awesome. Always an honor to have Kama fight in our cage, win or lose, man. That's always a really cool experience. His crowd's awesome. He definitely adds some juice to his show. It's kind of funny, the fight before his, Anthony Hogaback 1-0 versus Matt Santos was making his debut. Just the juxtaposition of Contender Series winner versus 5-time UFC vet, and then right before them was a debut versus a 1-0. It's just crazy the way that whole card shook out. But Hound Dog and Santos, I think, a very grappling based fight. We're not gonna analyze it quite. If you guys want to hear real analysis about it, go watch that. Listen to your coach's podcast we were talking about. But how Santos was tough, dude. I think he had a game plan and a style that even if Hound Dog would have beat him, I don't think he would have looked good doing it, if that makes sense. Like Santos was one of those guys that, like, even if you beat him, he's going to make it ugly in the process, and it's going to be tough, and he's going to stick to you, and you're going to have to earn that. I was super impressed with not only his cardio, but his offensive grappling as well was really good. We know Hound Dog's really slick on the ground, and Santos was definitely having the upper hand in most of those exchanges. So he was kind of like conservative, I would say. Santos, it could have been, first pro fight, jitters, just really wanted to get the win. But it seemed like he was not quite throwing as much as you would have expected him to, or really pursuing a finish, but more so looking for control in the win, which fair play. That's how you double your fight night check right there, baby. He got it done. So I get it. It's a good win. And I really want to see where he goes from there, because it's a really promising gym. As we saw throughout the night, we're going to get to a couple other finishers, MMA fighters that were on the card, but that whole gym is so extremely talented, man. They're on the east side of the state in Bethlehem, PA, and they're doing really, really great stuff. Head coach Zach Makovsky was a UFC vet in his own right. A big flyweight prospect back in the day. If you guys were following the UFC back then, he was like real freaking good. Like, if you don't know Zach Makovsky, you need to go watch some footage. Dude was an animal. So with a guy like that leading the charge, they're in really good hands. And that team was impressive all night. So Santos came in, his pro debut, got his pro career kicked off on the right foot. Man, that was a really good win for him.
Yeah, Santos to me is the guy that's living proof that, like, spend your amateur career getting different looks and getting different experiences, and he's the guy that, like, has spent the time preparing himself for his pro debut, and he made the most of it, and looked great.
Yeah. Trapper Harris in the comments said, "Who was the Ammy with the deadly left that got the textbook KO?" We will get to that. We will get to that in a second. It was earlier in the night, but we will get there, Trapper. Don't worry. However, we did also have the Drizzy versus Tariq Smith comment, and that was Zach Drizmicky that you're referencing. So we'll definitely get to that fight and what it meant and how ridiculous that was. We got to talk about that one. But yeah, dude, on Santos, I totally agree. He had an extensive AMI career. I think 11 AMI fights, and was roughly 500. I think he was 6-5, and that's Then when you go pro against a tough dude like Hogaback, he was never overwhelmed, never out of his element. You could tell, been there, done that kind of attitude, because he had been there and done that as an AMI. That's how that works.
Well, and to I think he was 6-5, and I think at one point he was 2-5. Wow. I think he ended his amateur career on a 4-fight win streak. He put it all together. He stuck with it. He kept training, kept saying his prayers, eating his vitamins, and ho, ho, ho.
You went for that. That's awesome. That's
I mean,
why
you gotta
everybody loves
put a
you.
little Hulkster in it.
That's why everybody loves you. Rob McCraw, solid night of fights, guys. Job well done on matchmaking. Thanks, dude. That's yeah, I'm glad you said that because I want to shout out obviously our whole team, but our new matchmakers, Jim Taylor and Sean Miller, working this thing. Like this card was a team effort, and I think it showed. I kind of joked with I said earlier in the podcast, my in-laws were there. I kind of apologized to them. I'm like, I'm sorry you're not seeing more like finishes. These fights are all super close. Like I literally jokingly said, I guess we need to make more mismatches because these are way too close and we're not seeing any crazy finishes now. It's all like close decisions. But
that's not true. We had 2 very quick fights.
Well, we did for sure. And honestly, the one, let's just talk about, we'll skip ahead. Let's just talk.
And neither one was a mismatch.
No, at all. That's the craziest part is that I mean, it was really early in the fight, to be fair, but Gabe Cruz was winning that round up into the punch for sure.
Yeah.
He was looking great. And I still think Gabe Cruz is going to be great. I mean, he's super athletic. He's very young, obviously, still learning under ATT Happy Valley. But even that minute that we saw of his was enough for me to be like, all right, he's going to be fine. He was the unfortunate recipient of a perfect left down the pipe from Zach Drzmicki. And that left hand, I don't know if his stout teammates knew he had that kind of power. It was a surprise to me. I'll say you don't see, first off, you don't even see pro flyweights typically with that kind of one-shot knockout power, let alone novice AMI flyweights with that kind of power. And like I said, I felt like he was losing that round, and then out of nowhere, he just perfect timing, perfect on the button, flatline Gabe Cruz. And that was the moment of the night for pretty much every fan there. I think the energy in that place when that happened was insane. And that just kind of set the tone for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, it made it like the second fight of the night kind of like makes you jump into the tempo kind of starts like a lot of these like inexperienced amateurs, like it's sloppy or and people are patient, no one's booing, no one does but it starts to elevate and build as you go. And then when you jump start it right in the beginning with like a beautiful textbook one hitter quitter, like it just made for a different environment early on instead of like it building to that.
My favorite thing is that, like, not to just keep jumping to my in-laws, but it was a cool experience for me to have them because they're not big.
My favorite thing is that my in-laws were at the show and like, I love my wife, honey, please don't beat me. And
she's gonna
my in-laws are wonderful people. Dude, come on, bro.
All right, cool, bro. But I was gonna say that they don't even they don't follow MMA at all. If it wasn't for me, they would probably not even know MMA was a sport. But like when you see a knockout like that in person, you don't have to know anything about the fight. You see that and you're like, that was awesome. Like they were so jazzed up about that. And it's like, it doesn't even matter. There's something about MMA and like, especially a knockout like that you don't have to be a fan of the sport to see something like that and lose your mind. It's a wild experience in person. I can't emphasize the in-person part enough either. It's so much different when you see it in real time.
Okay. And let's talk about the post-fight interview because that needs to be addressed.
So AJ's comment, Hunter's favorite part was the post-fight interview. Drizzy was a little hyped.
Dude, okay, here the instructions have been sent.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
If I get it, I'm not blaming anybody. And if that can't happen, it is not happening again. So if that starts to happen, it will be stopped from happening. Like the interview will end. Guys, I get it. You're hyped up. And like, this is a business that we are like, we have kids watching. It doesn't, I mean, it just, yeah, no, please.
Ty Polk
love
in
you
the
all,
chat,
but
by the way.
no.
Ty, you gotta watch the replay, Ty, because we were singing your praises earlier, brother. You stepped in and absolutely killed it. We're looking forward to October for sure, dude. That's gonna be a sick one. On Drizzy in the post-fight interview, yeah, I told AJ, like, I curse a lot, and even I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, every other word, he was ultra hype. It was ultra hype.
It was
yeah.
Another level, like, so it was. I literally, as it was happening, I had to do something, and I like ran to the back, and I'm like, if you're out there and getting post-fight interviewed, you don't talk like that. I was so mad.
It's funny because we emphasize clean versions of the walkout song so hard, and then something like that happens anyway.
Well, and like, we have to look in the mirror. Like,
oh yeah,
we didn't prepare people to like know that they can't do that. Like, it's on us. Like,
hey, learning lessons all around.
We need to make sure that we make it clear that, like, talk like you're in front of your mother. Hey, Luke and Corey. Hey, guys, listen. 247 Fighting Championships gets a lot of help setting up our shows and doing all that stuff from members of the Upper St. Clair High School football team.
They're all in the chat right now.
So, my deal to you is, please wish these guys good luck tonight. They have a big, huge game. Last year they lost to Peters Township 31-0. They were two of the top teams last year. They're two of the top teams this year. They're Peters Township's ranked number 1, Upper St. Clair's ranked number 3, and they're both 5-0. And Peters versus at Upper St. Clair this year, it's going to be a great game. And yeah, that's Will awesome. Stoll, his brother's a captain of the team, and he's always at the shows helping you find your seats and whatnot. He's like the biggest kid there.
We have
Nate Stoll.
We have Peters or USC in the chat, and personally, I'm going USC all day. But everybody knows Ryan loves Peters, so.
Well, that has nothing to do with football, though.
Oh, that
Come
was
on, dude. We just talked about.
I didn't even know that was a football question. I thought, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, whatever. USC all the way, baby. Let's go,
dude. That's a hype matchup. That is a hype matchup for sure. That's tonight.
It's tonight. 7:00. Yeah. Panther Stadium, the home of Jim Render.
Hoga back, skipping back for a second, said, "Oh, we knew about Drizzy's power." So there you go. I guess it wasn't a surprise to the teammates, but to me, I mean, a knockout like that.
I thought he was saying, "Oh, we knew you were flipping out," because I think it was. Oh, yeah. I think it was him that I was like that heard me.
Tim Bailey said, "Can confirm. Big Peters sign in his front yard." Yeah, you're not wrong, Tim. We've all seen it. We've all seen it, bro. We know what he's into. He can't hide it from us. It's fine though. We don't judge. Let's snag back to the card here so it doesn't turn into a 6-hour podcast. We had before Hound Dog's sophomore pro performance, we had Taylor Cahill versus Brogan Andres, and for me, probably the fight of the night. I think that's the fight of the night.
Yeah, that was a sick fight.
Yeah, I haven't. I actually haven't really thought of it until right now, but that's got to be the fight of the night. Taylor landed a lot of strong shots on the feet. Definitely rocked Brogan at one point. I think it was a little crispy right hand, if I recall. That definitely got a knockdown. Couldn't seal the deal with ground and pound or find a submission, but pretty much dominated the first round from what I remember. Second round was similar, but you could see Taylor's gas tank just emptying in that second round, and you could tell, like, dude, if Brogan can hang on here, he might.
Well, didn't Brogan sweep with like a minute left?
I can't remember.
I feel like Brogan ended the second round on top.
There you go. So yeah, like we said, you could see Taylor's gas tank dwindling, and like the momentum, which was all Taylor up to that point, Brogan swung it, and then heading into the third round, kind of took over, hit a huge toss, got Taylor down, got him unfortunately right in front of Taylor's corner too, choked him out with a rear naked choke. So pretty brutal scene for the Cahill fam and American Top Team Happy Valley there, happening right in front of them when it seemed like they had the fight in the bag. But dude, Brogan is one tough SOB, son. That dude is
When you're
really
with Brogan, there is no fight in the bag until the bell sounds. Like that dude, he's gonna go.
I'm no judge, but I thought it was 1-1 going into the last round. Like, I thought it was.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Even. I think Taylor definitely, and I thought Brogan won the second, but
I guess
I agree. I remember. Who was I looking at? Oh, I think I was looking at Ethan as he was broadcasting, and I remember going 1-1, and he like nodded. He thought it was 1-1 too.
Nice. I guess what's clouding it for me is that Taylor won his round more dominantly than Brogan won his round. You know what I mean? Like pretty much domination in the first round for Taylor, and then just the gas tank, baby. Gotta have that gas. But dude, shout out to Brogan, because he's a savage. Brogan, first off, Brogan's awesome. Brogan's an awesome fighter, but his whole team, that Route 250 team, they're amazing to work with. I love those guys. Like Andrew Law runs a super tight ship there, and they always bring it. They're super professional, and they're just good. They're good all the way around. It like doesn't get any better than working with teams like that. So from the promotional side, that makes me really happy when things work like that. You know, like finish.
Yeah, I love Brogan. I had to like confess my sins to him of like kind of dismissing, not dismissing him, but just dismissing how like good of a. I just underestimated him the first time he was in our cage. I just thought he was, an average fighter, and he's far from that. He's a very, very tough, like, I just have a ton of respect for him, and he's not the fighter I thought he was, for sure. He really impressed me, and there's something to be said for like having someone that kind of overpowers you, and that's the best way I think I can put it with Cahill in that first round, and not letting that psych you out, not letting that get you down, but going back and just, being willing to figure out the puzzle. I always think, it's like a puzzle, and there's a certain way, certain things that you can do with your skill set to beat a certain opponent, and you just got to like kind of be smart enough to figure out, like, in the moment, like, okay, what do I need to do against this guy? Like, this guy's got me here, and this is what I'm normally better at. Like, like, can you figure out the puzzle as it's going on? And like, I have a lot of respect for how he was able to figure out that puzzle and weather that storm and get the finish.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And to your point about like confessing your sins to Brogan, a funny way to put it, but how well has that win aged for Chase Boyd? That probably started that thinking when Chase beat Brogan as an AMI. That win looks even better now for Chase. And at the time, we knew it was a good win for Chase, but I think seeing what Brogan has done since then makes it even that much better, because Brogan has proven, like you said, that he's no easy task for anybody out there. He's now on a very, very, very good 2-fight win streak as a pro, both by finish. So sky's looking way up for Mr. Brogan. So shout out to him for making that happen. That is all 6. I got a text from Andrew Paula, and he said Cahill versus Andres was a banger for my pictures too. Yeah, dude. Shout out. Our entire photography team is like firing on all cylinders right now. They are so absolutely firing on all cylinders. Real quick, Brandon.
Did you pay them, by the way?
No. Are we pay them?
I'm serious. You need to take care of that, bruh.
Hey, when you upload all your photos, you get paid. These are the rules. We're still waiting on some. So
we don't have them all. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Calling me out. But Brandon Lickman in the chat, I'm only saying this because I think maybe, is Bob your dad? Because if Bob's your dad, we literally just met him today, and that's crazy. But anyway, it might not be at all, and now this sounds ridiculous. But anyway, our photographers this show, Andrew Paula, Chris Bermudo, Derek Godown, Tatsuo Kyoto. I'm trying. Listen, pronunciation, maybe not my strong suit, but I think I nailed it. They were all, dude. These photos are my favorite photos from an event to date. By far, our team is like on a different level right now. And big shout out Anthony Brandy at Pittsburgh Flyover. His video footage is insane, and there's still plenty more of that to get through. So you just wait. Yins, just wait and see what we got for that. But our media team, like on that level, it's never been in a better place, and I'm extremely appreciative for all of them because they're genuinely excited to do it. They're working together. Like, I don't know. Does it it warms my heart, dude, when I see them like being friends backstage and like sharing their pictures and being excited for each other. It's like, dude, this is how it should be. Like, this is awesome.
Well, here's the other thing too, is like we have some like super talented guys that like can't do every show. That like if we needed like one show, we have like, I mean, we found so many greats.
Yeah. The squad is extremely strong. As we were saying, the whole team, man. DJ Wade stepped in and didn't miss a beat. No pun intended. He was great. DJing's actually pretty difficult for people who maybe have never tried it or don't really think twice about it, but it's super important. And especially with MMA, there's a cadence of walkout songs, music between rounds, music between fights. Like, there's certain things that just need to happen. And if it's off, you can really tell. And you could not tell because DJ Wade was not off. He was great. He killed it. I was very impressed coming in like that. And Rob,
was that his first time?
Yeah, it was his first time with us. So that was impressive. Yeah, your boss threw you under the bus. He did, Rob, and I wasn't even wrong, bro. That's how it goes. That's what I'm used to. That's literally just how it goes.
There's a new way in broadcasting.
Oh man, how behind the scenes do we want to go on this podcast? How behind the scenes do we go on this show? But so that was all 6 pro fights we just ran through. We went through Drizmicki, so there's 3 Emmy fights we got to talk about still. And this is what's up. AJ Germain, 1 second. Sorry, AJ Germain. How can I possibly forget you when I'm shouting out everybody on the media side of things? AJ runs now our Fight Night social. He edits videos. He's a Pitt student who literally cold email. Actually, he was a reference from Dylan Cole. I'm sure you all remember the young Dylan Cole, who's
Cole emailed
us. Nice. And AJ has stepped in and like everything that I always thought Dylan could be, AJ is that now. Just kidding, Dylan. Dylan was awesome.
Just another Pitt loser.
Hey.
Hey.
Nah, AJ's the man. Dylan was the man, but AJ has definitely impressed. Like the winners graphics on Fight Night are all AJ's creation. We have
on social.
Yeah, on social. So his social game is definitely starting to play a part for us, and you're only going to see stuff like that keep expanding. So stay tuned. I think every show we try to add another element, like Ish Lopez's post-fight interviews backstage with the winners. Like we're always adding wrinkles like that, and it's just kind of taking the whole product up to the next level. And I think this last event, you could really tell, like it was really cohesive. It was really cool. And the funny part is like guys like Gino Morelli or the out-of-towners might just think this is normal, but like anybody who's been with us for a while, I hope you can see like each show we're kind of stepping it up a new level, which we are. And even had a care package for the fighters at weigh-ins this time. Shout out First Watch Murraysville. They donated a lot of gift cards and coupons and things like that. And we made a little care package for all the fighters with that and some itineraries. So just little behind the scenes things to make your experience fighting for 247 fighting championships that much better. And we're just going to keep raising that. So here we go. And all right. We had another McCraw comment admitting that he's just stirring the pot. So at least he said that. Thanks, Rob. What was the Amy fight?
Rob, I plan on getting rid of him soon anyway, so don't feel like it's all your fault.
He didn't need any encouragement. We had what was the last Amy fight? Tim Bailey and Jacob Katsev, I think. I think Tim Bailey's fight was the Amy main event, if you will. Another dude, sick fight. Once again, Tim's hands looking fantastic this time around. Tim's striking is by far the story of that fight for me.
His kicks too.
Bro, those kicks, that Will Morrill Muay Thai is really setting in with young Timothy there. So that was an impressive performance to say the least, but shout out Jacob Katsev at the same time, being extremely, extremely tough. Tim couldn't put him away. That one goes to decision. I was really impressed by Jacob. I think, I could be totally wrong here, but I think Katsev fought at 125 before. And if that's true, I don't see how. Like, he looked significantly bigger than Tim to me. Just physically.
That was before his second leg grew back.
Yeah, that had to be. That's the only way. I mean, that's literally the only way. I don't get it. Austin Warman with a sick llama avatar. His kicks are deadly. Yeah. Those Tim Bailey kicks, I'm telling you, they were looking good. That's going to be a scary thought at pro when he can throw those to the noggin for sure.
I have a big. Go ahead.
The submission that Katsev threw up too, like when he was in danger, that was pretty sick. I thought he did it for a second, and then Tim survived it.
Those 10th Planet boys, man, they're sneaky.
I got a big anti-shout out here to the people that Tim Bailey, like, literally bent over backwards to get your tickets for you, and then you turned around and said, "No, just kidding. I can't. We're not going."
Insane.
Guys. The fighters during fight week, if you make them do magic tricks to make getting tickets to you happen, oh man, there's nothing more deflating. Come on, man.
Yeah.
What's that? What do they do on NFL Prime?
That's it. Come on, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I checked, and Katsev did his Amy debut was at 125, and his fight before Tim was a 130 catch weight. So he has gone below 135, which doesn't seem possible, but apparently he can do it. He looks big for bantamweight even, so that's definitely surprising. But shout out them, dude. That was a really sick, close fight. One of those ones that, kind of like we were talking about with Matt Santos, that's the kind of fight that as an AMI, you're going to be glad you had that fight later down the road, because I think both guys learned a lot pretty much everywhere that fight went. Tested your cardio, tested your heart, tested your ability to stick to a game plan or adapt on the fly. There's a lot to that one that you're going to be able to take away. So that was awesome.
I love seeing fights that, at the end of that fight, both fighters became better fighters that night. And that's, you definitely don't want to end up on the losing end, but there are some cases, and this is one of them, where both of those fighters walked out better men, better fighters after the fight.
For sure. So we talked about Austin Warman and Isaiah already. We talked about Matt Santos already. So with that, those were the three finishers, guys. Jacob Katsev, Isaiah Castanon, and Matt Santos. They went 2-1 on the night. So a really impressive performance for them coming from Bethlehem, coming out here to Pittsburgh and putting on a show. They looked, like I said, man, that team was pretty phenomenal. I'm really excited about them, and hopefully looking forward to getting them back in there real soon. Actually, they are 100% coming soon. Eddie Alvarez fighting Lucas Siebert in the main event October 26th, already announced. So, yeah, Finishers is coming right back, and that's super exciting, man. And if their performances at Brawl in the Burgh 23 were any indication, Eddie Alvarez is going to be ready to roll, man. You cannot underestimate those dudes out there because they're doing great stuff. They put together a fantastic team.
I mean, Eddie's come a long way since that loss to Connor, and I'm just really expecting. I mean, he's down 20 pounds. Like, it's interesting. So, I mean, I saw him live at 205, so I'm excited to see him live again.
You had to go there. I'm excited to hear his wife screeching from the front row. We need to get Eddie Alvarez's wife versus Mateo's dad in a fight night shout out. Shout off. Dude, they're the best. Top 8. Dude, literally somebody just texted. Who was it? AJ Germain? Somebody just texted me about that. Like, y'all need to get Mateo to fight again so I can hear some top 8. That is awesome, dude. I love that.
Top 8! Dude, you know everyone around him wants to kill him.
What are you gonna do? Like, dude, his son yeah.
I know. It's so good.
His son is fist fighting a guy. Let him. Yeah.
You can't not hear him.
It's sick.
Top 8.
The craziest part is how exact it is. It's like he's pushing a button where it's like recorded. Like, he does it the exact same way every time. It's amazing.
You ever go into someone's office and they have that button on their desk and it's like that's top 8.
We need a top 8 button for real on the Roadcaster, Danny. We need to program.
Oh yes,
seriously,
we gotta do that. We gotta have him. We gotta have Mateo's dad on the podcast, and he can record a custom top 8.
Now we're talking. That's awesome.
Do you know the first podcast in studio when we first had the studio done? We said on the podcast, like, there's these special buttons and we can make them custom noises, and we've literally never done it.
It's just an air horn. Like, we occasionally crickets or applause as well, but like mostly mostly just an air horn.
98.
The funniest thing is when DJ Cake makes noises that are on our thing too, and I'm thinking, like is she running podcast stuff on it?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, those are just the same sounds.
I can't hear an air horn anywhere else. Like, if I hear it, I just think.
Oh, I know. I know. Same. It ruined air horns for sure. Yeah. So I think we've talked about every fight now. It was kind of during the show. Before the show, we talked about Warman and Joao. But Joao versus Dylan Bush. Look at this. You mentioned DJ Cake, and she shows up in the chat. It was like Beetlejuice. What's up, players? DJ Cake, what's up, players?
What up, dog? We miss you, girl. Air horns are never. She's been in here longer than we thought.
Yeah, before it said. That's awesome. So we'll cue up some sounds for October 26th. Let's go. DJ Cake back. Cake back.
Is she back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go. Yeah, dude, I'm stoked about that. Everybody loves them. DJ presses air horn buttons. Yeah, I know. None of us are hooked up to the Roadcaster anymore because we're all remote, but just pretend. Fill in some fake air horn there. For the right price, yes. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh. Looks like she's not coming.
Yep, she can't. I'm just going to hold the mic here now. I'm leaning back. But what else we got to talk about from that show? What I felt like there was there anything crazy behind the scenes this time that's real fun? Obviously, we talked about the fights that fell through. We talked about freedom fighters fighting each other. What else was there? Was there anything? I can't think of anything.
We got the call from Kama at on weigh-in day at 10 in the morning.
Yeah,
maybe even earlier.
It was around
this weight is not falling off, so he ended up 2 pounds over.
Yeah, Kama and Taylor both missed weight. That's never fun for the record. Missing weight. listen, I'm not fighting you. Like, personally, do I wish you would show up on weight 100% of the time? Yeah, it makes everybody's life way easier and our days all easier, but like, it's not like super affecting me. But then we do get fined and you lose some of your purse, and it's just, you have to take an extra hour after you miss weight. So like, weigh-ins could have been over and we could have been doing our job elsewhere, but now we're waiting an extra hour. So it's not awesome by any means. I don't like that. So it happens though, man. Like, that's part of the game. Like Kama said, the weight just wasn't coming off, and he tried, but missed by how much? A pound? 1 point something?
I think it was like 1.4 or something.
Yeah. So Olivier got a little more money and an even bigger win. And to be fair to Olivier, like, he was already coming up from 45. Olivier's really a 145er. He was just, that was a great opportunity for him against Kama that he didn't want to miss. So I definitely understand that if you wanted to, if Kama would have been like 160, 163, I don't think he would have still accepted the fight. And at that point, you really couldn't have blamed him. But Kama did get close enough, obviously, for the fight to stay on, so that was good. Jim Taylor almost made me late for happy hour. Yeah, dude, that was a long day. Jim Taylor and Sean got their first. Well, actually, Sean didn't get his first taste of weigh-ins, but got his first taste of event night. But Jim did.
I was a huge fan of the afternoon weigh-in.
That is nice, dude. There's something.
That wasn't our first time. That wasn't the first time, Danny.
It might have been our first time with only one event, though. Was it?
Well, but last time we had 1 and 2:30 weigh-ins, so we were still done a lot earlier.
Yeah. No, I do like the 1 p.m. In a general
sense,
sense,
Pat Johnston loves the 1 o'clock weigh-ins.
Oh yeah, he's a huge 1 o'clock weigh-in guy. To the point that
vacation day? Yes, I will take them.
I heard he was petitioning the state to just make them mandatory across the state. Is that true?
Yes. Sure it was.
So, yeah, guys, BitB23 was a freaking amazing night. Like I said, once these photo galleries are done, we're going to be blasting out the links so you guys can see everything the photographers did. I think, without question, it's the best photo set we've ever had from an event, and it's just, they're beautiful, man. They crushed it, and the full fight replay is available at stream247live.com, 247 Live app. Get that thing and rewatch what you missed.
Just to make things clear to everybody, because every once in a while I find out, like, people that I think should definitely know this don't know. If you go on to, and we're going to post this today, Hunter. Our smug, and by we I mean Hunter. Our smug mug. Everything on there is now free. It's been free for years. You can view every photo we've ever taken at a show. You can download any photo for free. You can also order photos. These ones aren't free, but you can purchase photos, like all kind of cool souvenir type stuff you can go in. But if you just want to download the photos, you can download individual photos for free, or you can download a whole gallery for free. If you tried to do that and you're having trouble or anything like that, you might need to log in for a free SmugMug account. But outside of that, it's all free. It's been free for many years. At the very beginning, we made it so that if you wanted to download it, it was like a whole gallery was like $12 or something. It's been free for probably 3 years now.
Yeah, 3 years. I agree. Ben with a pen. I'm sorry, dude, that there were no kisses at weigh-ins this time. I tried. I literally told everybody, like, hey, after you face off, you should kiss. But
you were saying to kiss you, and they were like, no, I'd rather kiss him. And you were like, no, you have to kiss me.
That's why I kept licking my lips, dude. I stay ready. I stay ready. Don't need to get ready.
Dude, Did you do it this show?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think, because my lips weren't chapped like always. So I did like mentally try to say like, hey, don't do that this time. That's weird.
So I don't know, for anyone that like regularly listens, or if you just pay attention to us. Hunter, I didn't know that. I never noticed this before, but when that viral kiss video came out, like reading the comments in that video is hilarious. Like things that I didn't notice in the video were all pointed out. Then I'd rewatch it and I'm like, oh yeah, I hear her now saying, baby, no, or whatever. Like they literally point out every detail of that video in the comments and just make fun of us and just like troll us, right? But
That's awesome.
The one said something about look at the big piece of chalk licking his lips the whole time or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I added the chalk thing. But then I'm like, Hunter was obsessively licking his lips, and I've never noticed that before. And I said to Hunter, "Why are you licking your lips so much?" He's like, "Every show I do that, and I end up with these chapped lips and like." He's chapped all the way around his cheek. And
yeah, dog. I get nervous.
I was like, I've never noticed that. And then like, yeah, when I watched that video, it was just very surprising that I've never noticed that. And he was like obsessively doing it.
Well, don't get it twisted. It was dudes kissing that made me start licking my lips that time. But in general, I do that at weigh-in day anyway. So
dudes kissing. Moose is in the house.
Moose, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining, man. We're just wrapping up here, so unfortunately you jumped in right at the end. But hey, tell Alton if you want to get in there. We got a spot for Moose all the time. All right.
Like I kind of have you pegged for the November card. Going to do something in November? You want to hang out November 23rd?
However, we should
also
probably go ahead.
No, you.
I was going to say we should probably firmly mention the fact our next show, Brawl in the Burgh 24, is October 26th. It's flying right up on us, which is insane how fast this thing's flying up at the Greater Pittsburgh Sports Complex in Robinson Township, Coriopolis. It's right near Costco in Robinson Township. Right there. Lucas Siebert versus Eddie Alvarez, Josh Visoki versus Nico Petrides, and a few more signed fights that you're just going to have to wait to find out. But if you tuned in very early to the podcast, you already have a very strong hint of one of them. So we're stacking this deck up. It's going to be a fantastic night of fights, dude. It's a smaller place, so I feel like it's going to sell out. I feel like the atmosphere is going to be just out of control, and it's going to be a super, super fun night for any fight fan in the area. So October 26th, tickets at 247fighting.com. You should probably go ahead and get that. Probably should. What do you think, Danny Palm? You think they should?
100%.
Ryan, you think
I need to hear a threat, Danny. Danny, it's best when you threaten people.
It's true.
If it was like closer to it, like we're past the event now. Once we get a little closer to October, I'll start making threats to people. But
okay,
I can't wait.
Yeah, we're not.
I wish it was closer just so I could hear Danny threaten people.
Call somebody a crumb. You're dead to me.
If you ain't buy this chicken, you is ludicrous.
You're a crumb. Calling them a crumb is the ultimate disrespect.
Well, yeah, because it's hilarious, and then they also get like really offended, which makes it even more funny.
It does make it way better. How about Danny becoming the face of like the weigh-in reel that Brandy does? Like Danny Palm got that intro. It's a strong intro this time, by the way. He's
Danny's famous. Dude, there's no one more like beloved than Danny Palm and Hello People. It's just,
literally,
it's just the way it is.
Everybody knows Danny Palm, dude. When I'm out meeting new people and I tell them about 247, they're like, "Oh, do you know Danny Palm?" Like, yeah, I do. Everybody knows.
It's either Danny
Palm.
or Vinny, one or the other. For sure, they know one of those two. I was one time. I was in Thailand. And I was like talking to someone, and they were like, "Oh, do you know Danny Palm?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my dog."
Worldwide, baby. Danny Palm, if we had little tiny 247 belts, do you think Vinny would buy one and wear it around our events?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sick. That's what I want.
What if we got like
one of the old
247
ones.
belt
Yeah.
247 belt headbands?
Yeah, he would
Like
wear
a headband that looks like a 247 belt.
I kind of like it.
That would be sick.
That would be sick.
Dude.
But for now, friends, I'm going to end this thing before we get too off the rails because I can just feel it coming. We're about to get off the rails here. We're talking about belt headbands. That's where I draw the line. This is it. We cut ourselves off. But thanks for tuning in. Obviously, like I said, next show, October 26th, and then right behind that, November 23rd is flying right behind it. So if you want to fight for us, just tell us. Just let us know. We'll get in touch with your coach. Set it up. Let's go. All right, peace out, ladies and gentlemen. Go Peters. Yeah, Peters. Let's go.
No. Hunter, you've been playing with your Peters.
Hey, end the stream there. Peace out.
Go Panthers.